Hello guys, welcome to my world of programming. My name is Tumitladi, and what is on the agenda today? Let's see. So we're gonna be talking, before we talk about the agenda, can I kindly show you something? I have this YouTube channel. It's when I build identical dogs using Xamarin, but that's where I went nuts there. I know you'll find this very helpful. Please check this YouTube channel out. And then all the videos I'm making right now, they're all uploaded on Licensed Henny Tips YouTube channel. They are short and simple, straight to the point. This is to show you what to expect when we do this mentoring and tutoring in programming, particularly using C#. And by the way, for that, it's only gonna be 25 Rand per session if you decide that I teach you programming, particularly how I build Licensed Henny Tips. It's a fully integrated system, right? So please do check other videos. 25 Rand per session, an hour, any day from Monday to Friday. Just tell me about the time and I'm available using Microsoft Teams. So what is on the agenda? It's a brand new month. I'm excited. It's Sunday. It's time for us to go to church. All right. So best practice of a Xaml, right? But we're gonna do that on the login page. So for that, I have the app running and it's on the login page. When I talk about the best practice of making this beautiful UI. Now, you can make any beautiful UI, but I want to talk about the best practice, my best practice in .Net Maui. Right, let's start from the top. So the very first thing, this is a content page. I want you to understand that it's not a content view. So on my views, I have organized them under folders. So I do have bottom sheets, I do have content views, but there's a full content page, right? And inside identity, I'm busy with the login page, right? Login page, that's the first thing that you want to do. If it's going to be a page or screen, just make sure that whatever name you ended up with a page. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you leave a content page as it is, right? So let me talk about the namespaces. Leave the default namespaces. There's a default one, there's a default, but I have my own custom namespaces. If you're gonna link the page with the view model, just give this guy key view model. You know, I watch a lot of programmers, even professionals, even some from Microsoft. Don't say VM. I want you, by looking at this code, to see, oh, this is going there, this is going there. So make sure that you are asking for the view models by saying this will be the key to reference that view model. I'm using a base indicator. I'm saying show base indicator. We made a video about this. I'm using connectivity. If you say show connectivity, you just say, I want to make use of them, but these are the keys. And then this is a Maui Community Toolkit, right? And we'll talk about this because there's a video I'm gonna make after this one. So we'll talk more about this guy. Then there's a toolkit, right? So if I'm using toolkit, then this will be the key to reference the toolkit. Then there's an entry. We'll talk about entry in a second when I get to it. I say entry because this guy is an entry controller. And then X data type, it's for me to access it, what it's inside that view model class. We'll see that also. And then I have a background. So all the custom stuff, I want them underneath, you know, these guys. I like order. I'm all about order, right? So here, I have a background color for the entire page, right? So, and then also I'm using static resource. I don't just say blue or white. No, I'm using one color that comes from colors. If you don't know where the colors are, if you go to resources and you go to styles, and here are the colors. So down here I have my own custom colors that I can use it throughout. So this is the best way. And what I do, again, best practice, I start with a color underscore, then I know what color I'm looking for. So it's easy for me to reference it very quickly like this. Then I have a navigation page dot has back button false, because of this I don't want any navigation. Navigation has navigation bar, you're removing that. And then now I start with the fly out. I don't want anything else to do with the fly out. The fly out, it should be invisible. The tab bar should be invisible. The guys at the bottom, the nav bar should be invisible. So this is the best practice. Then when you're done, you make space and say content page.behaviors. Inside the behaviors, we're using that Maui Community Toolkit .status behavior. What this guy does, you see the color here. where you see your clock, time, and the status of whatever's happening, battery, Wi-Fi, all of that. So this is something that the Maui community toolkit team did fantastic to say. I'm gonna have a status bar style dark content, meaning that what appears is gonna be dark, not light. Then also the color is gonna use what the board. Do you see that? Code reusability. So that's why you see the background color here and the color of that guy. Throughout, I am using the behaviors to target status bar behavior. I think we need to do part 2. There's a lot here. This guy, I'll come back to it because the next video that I'm gonna do, which is validations, we'll talk more about this guy. So I'm gonna skip this one for now. But this is where we have the resources for this content page in one place. Okay, so then we have the main outer layout, which is the umbrella, which is I'm using absolute layout. For me, it's because I'm also using content views. So horizontal and vertical option is gonna fill up, like fill the whole thing, right? The padding is gonna be 0. Then I have the inner layout, which is stick layout, where it's gonna still support that absolute layout. Then I have the main umbrella, which is scroll view. This guy can scroll. So what was the reason for it to scroll? Remember, this is Android emulator, but they are Android small devices. So I want this to still scroll. There's iPhone 5, there's iPhone 6 is smaller. I want it to scroll. So you need to take that into consideration. So vertically and fill and expand. And then what I want the margin only at the bottom to be 10, just to leave some space there when you're scrolling, right? Then I have a vertical stick layout. It's a container for everything now, right? From here to there. Then this is another thing, please make use of comments when you're designing your UI. It's easy for one to pick it up. I forgot to mention something. You can still do this in code behind, not using the Xaml, but I love the Xaml. I'm not gonna design all of these image, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not a fan. Another reason, again, the limitation of a Xaml is because, let's say this is Android and I want to show this image when something's happening, like a MVC on their views, Razor views there's a flexibility of having the C# on the inside. The same thing with the Blazor. Unfortunately, here we don't have the flexibility, so we're gonna have to hack it, right? So the image and the way I design, I don't like having these things to go horizontal. I like to stack them underneath, like vertically. So the source aspect, that this is an image, but what's important, I'm saying now, when it comes to margin on Android, like this Android, from the top, I want you to move it 40, just 40, but the iOS, I want to move it 60. It's a decision that I made, right? And then 40 there, 40 down, but iOS is 60, 60, right? Then I have what I call the header, because all my pages are using mostly the header, if not the logo. So on the header, this is what I call the header, right? I'm using a custom font. We'll talk about that. So label, login, and this is a custom font. The custom font is on the font, and here it is, right? I love this font. And then at the same time, I have the box view. You see this beautiful guy there. It's a box view, background color set to blue using static resource, and then the width request is 40 and height request, because I can adjust this the way I want to. Then I just have a label that says login to your account. And I noticed something, by the way. I think this is going to be very important. By default, we know this to be black, like the color to be black. Unfortunately, for some weird reasons, the color would not be applied in release version. Like when you release it to production, the color will not be applied. So I have to enforce all the labels to have a default color, which is the black. All right, guys, I'm going to do part 2. I'm going to continue. I want you to see how this login page has been designed and how I went about the best practices and how I'm still going to reuse some of reusable components. So for that, stay tuned for part 2. I'm going to make part 2 of it. Like I said, I can teach you all of this for 25 Rand per session. We talk about the database. We talk about the ASP.NET Web API, ASP.NET MVC. We talk about .NET Maui for Android and iOS, and how I build licensing tips. This will only be 25 Rand per session. I'm gonna leave my numbers. Thank you.